Hey you guys, this is part two of Bad Therapy. And the reason why I added this on is because there's so much that I didn't get a chance to actually tell you that took place about what really went down multiple times with me. And I wasn't doing anything wrong, I wasn't in agreement with any of this stuff. And a lot of people don't understand these mental health institutions are now weapons against the citizens of the United States. They have no governing whatsoever in certain states. So you enter in, you can be treated any kind of way. And I can honestly tell you, with larger political parties, whether you're without party, no party affiliation, Democrat, Republican, um, private party, or whatever the case may be, that a lot of times these parties are targeted and they will use mental devices against these parties. They will use it against the people. Certain people running for political positions are going through political attacks using these devices. Certain people that are celebrities, in the church, you name it, they're using these devices against these people to stop their progression. So, a mental health institution is now used as a weapon against the American people. And there is really no governing over them whatsoever. We have federal governing that says that they're supposed to be governing over them, but truth be told, these positions are not being really governed. You talk about the Department of Children and Families here where I live in the state of Florida, is vended out. So when you're dealing with a vendor can be the same person that's actually monitoring that site, so the site isn't really being properly monitored at all. And that's one of the biggest issues I have right now with the state of Florida. Yes, I am a vendor of the state of Florida, but at the same time, I think certain things should not be vended out. I think that certain things, even for the counties, I feel that certain things should not be vended out. And that's how I came across certain information about prostitution services and all this different stuff that they're trying to incorporate um, into governmental business. And it has no business with the government because the government is supposed to safeguard against these things. And it leaves families in turmoil. You're wondering why your daughters and everything is going on with your daughters, your sons, and stuff like that. It's because of some of the times this connection to mental health institution, government, police, police monitoring, and everything. Because law enforcement really doesn't have a monitoring service. So what happens? People can be incarcerated for years and really haven't done a crime. And I know what you're saying. We have laws against this. Yeah, but who's enforcing them? And that's the question you have to start asking. We have laws against mental health institutions doing this. Now, can you monitor the people that's supposed to be monitoring the people that are doing wrong? Because with no enforcement, nothing ever changes. So if I'm getting raped and I'm going to the people that is involved in the rape situation, guess what? Nothing's ever going to change because the people that are involved, it's not going to allow that change to take place. And if there's nobody monitoring them, they're going to do even more. They're going to do worse than what they did before because there is no monitoring, which leaves our future children in turmoil and leaves us as well. They intimidate young women into doing what they want them to do. And I can tell you honestly, they will sit up there and they will do stuff to the mother to intimidate the child into cooperating with whatever type behavior that they want them to do so that they can say this is the norm. And it's only victimizing the child even more as well as the parents and everything else. They are using devices and all kinds of different things. And I know what you guys are saying. Well, who's stopping this? Nobody. Because as citizens, when we rise up against this type of behavior, the first thing that happens is now we're targeted. We're the target. So being the target, they're going to keep their eyes on us. They're going to keep focus on us. They're going to they sit up there and they do all kinds of different things. You get hired to jobs so that they can sit up there and they can puppeteer and manipulate you and use psychology and devices against you, to say that you're something that you're not supposed to be. You can't imagine how many times I have worked for a company and come home in a day sometimes, just like in a complete days. Like I went to work and I came home in a daze. What is this? You know, and it's to throw you off the fact that these people are involved in a lot of illegal activity, a lot of things that are unbecoming. And I know what you guys are saying. We have laws against this. Who's enforcing them? And now we're dealing with the slave society because of bad therapy, because of people being involved in certain things. And I know what you're saying. What does this have to do with therapy? All of this going on and stuff like that. It's actually layered in layers. I remember telling you guys this, where it's actually layered in layers, where pretty much they have a phase at certain times that they use. So the moment like people like just an ordinary person goes and runs for city commissioner or runs for a political position, they're targeted and they're taken through a series of abuse. Like, I mean, abuse. And it's because all of them are connected together and they don't want this cycle of abuse that already is happening in the community to end. And so this is something that they do. And I know what you're saying. Okay, well, who's doing it? I can honestly say I never knew this many African American people would be involved in this type of stuff. But from my understanding, this is something that has been taking place with African American people for quite some time. I was oblivious to it, and I'm African American, but I was oblivious to it. Then it awoken me to that they didn't just start attacking African American children. They were doing it in white neighborhoods, Hispanic neighborhoods, Chinese neighborhoods. I mean, they just went all across the board, like did a national thing where they were pretty much victimizing the people and forcing the people to fall into whatever they wanted them to fall into, and they were using dark psychology to do it. I can honestly tell you, like with young women, okay, this is one reason why I really wasn't pro for spanking my kids, unless they did something super bad, or whatever. But I wasn't really like strong, like you got to do what I say do, type person. And it was a reason why I never really raised my children like you got to do what I say do. It's a mandate. I I didn't raise them like that because I didn't want them to fear making their own decisions. You know, I believe that if I did things the right way, I would be a great role model for my children. And if I turn around and I guide them in the right direction, that they will be great themselves. So I really wasn't the type that be like, you gonna do this and you gonna do that, unless it was something really serious. And then I'll be like, you know what? If you do that, it's gonna be an issue. And you're gonna do what I say do because I know this is in your best interest, type thing. But I will always say it's in your best interest and give them the reasons why, or whatever the case may be, for to safeguard them. But I never was the type to be like, okay, you got to do what I want you to do or whatever, because I never wanted to be that type of parent. And it was a reason why. We as parents have to be careful, because if our children are used to getting commands and not giving their own commands to their own selves, they become the perfect puppet for a puppeteer, because you have taught them to just do what you say and not think about what they're doing. See, the first problem with our African American children, they don't get the opportunity to actually think about what they're doing, the consequences of what they're doing. And this is causing a issue, because when they walk into real life, you're already, bombarded by so many different things that you forget to think about making proper decisions for yourself. And then with the devices that are used against you, because there are so many different devices that are used against you, like um parents cursing out their children, calling them out of their name. And guess what? These kids are now getting men in their lives that are doing the same thing. And that was a symbol of love to them, because you're taught that parents are love. So when you're being spanked or whatever, abused or beaten up on, you're taught that this is because your family, your mom loves you, or this person loves you. No. And guess what? Men and women are now mimicking the cycle of abuse, and now taking men and women through this type of thing, puppeteering and abusing, because they're in a different hierarchy. See, there's a group of people that's in our same community but think they're above the people that's in that community. And their children are taught a certain thing to keep control of our children. And the only way our children escape the BS if they're able to make their own decisions. But the moment that they see that these kids are able to make their own decision, they start doing certain things to them with devices and dark psychology to throw them off. The wisest thing I ever heard was me watching TV the other day on the Word Network, listening to a preacher. It was TD Jake's daughter's husband. And he sat up there and he said, um, the first thing he needed to learn was to focus. And he was talking about focusing more. And I started thinking to myself, yeah, that is very expensive, because that's the last thing that we do. We don't focus. We don't come with a game plan. We don't come set up to take over. We come actually being taken out of what we're really called to do and what we know we can conquer. And so the biggest thing, I think I'm going a little bit off subject or whatever with the bad therapy, but this is me trying to give you some good therapy on top of the fact of knowing that we are dealing with bad therapy, and the fact that you cannot really go to a place and actually remedy the problem, because it's so layered. It's so many different things that are taking place. Like, we are being taken out of our mental sanity. Like, sir, I this is what I'm gonna urge everyone to do. Take a little time out of your day and go through your day and ask yourself, why did I do certain things? Like, if you see something that appalled you, like, it's just like doing a rewind of your day at the end of your day. And if something appalled you or offended you that you felt that you would never do, ask yourself, why did you do that? And I'm pretty sure you will find that it wasn't your will to do it. And it's a part of puppeteering. And this is something that we all are going through. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is this: had we knew the situation we were in, we could have been saved by people that were willing to save us, but we didn't know the situation that we were in. So we couldn't be saved. And this was the same thing that was said about slavery back in the days. Even modern day today. A lot of people don't even know we're still dealing with slavery. We're still dealing with people that want to be over us and want to have a leadership position over us, but don't know how to lead. You want to lead with bondage and chains and devices that is not progressive. only the only progression you will see is for yourself and not for others. So at this point, you have a group of leaders that are tyrants and terrorists. Right here in the United States, a lot of people feel like the United States is a great place of opportunity. I cannot tell people and stress to people enough that it's not. It's not. I don't know how many times I can tell you. Have you seen what's underneath? Have you seen the nastiness of people? And it wasn't until I went through the mental health institution that I was really able to see clearly how nasty people were, and they were okay with being nasty. They were okay with being abusive to people. They were okay with what was taking place with people as long as it don't happen to them. As long as it's not them, you're okay with it. But guess what? I like to bring it to your doorstep and make sure it's you. So at the end of the day, I want to make sure that people understand that the stuff that is going on with us really needs to be addressed, because nobody chose this for themselves. This was forced on a person against their will. You know, I can't tell you how many times people enter into a mental health facility and don't never come home. And you may not even know that that is you. In fact, it may even be me right now. Or you enter into a prison and you never come home. Or you enter into some other state, some school, and you never make it home. All of these are institutions that are now being used for a planned and terrorist attack against the United States people. I don't know how else to wake anybody up. I don't know what else to say to a person to get them to the point where you can see clearly enough to know that we are in war every day here in the United States, domestic and abroad, fighting for the things that we believe in most, you know, and that's freedom. And freedom hasn't been freedom for a long time. We have become accustomed to accepting the small advantages, but we're really not free here in the United States at all. We're not free, foreign or abroad. You know, in other countries, they always try to make like United States is better than everything else. We have the same issues that foreign countries have every day, and no one's addressing them. No one's doing anything about them. It's considered okay because the people that's higher up is okay with it. Stop being okay with it. We have to, I understand we have to survive. We have to go to work every day. Trust me, right now I'm trying to work two jobs, trying to survive. I'm trying to sit up there and do everything that I possibly do to survive. But there's no guarantees. We have to prepare ourselves for the long run. You know, I always tell people this: preparing, preparing. Because waking up to what's really taking place is scary. It's really scary. And our children are waking up to it and being forced into something. Can you imagine being a 5-year old child and being forced to commit sexual acts with a man and your memory being erased? Or 2 or 3-year old child, and this is considered the norm, and your child spends years and years out of it. And this doesn't matter whether it's a woman or a male child. It could be a woman child or a male child. They don't care. Female or male, they don't care. I cannot tell you, I was there at the psychiatric center, kid you not, and I remember the um the guy saying to me, he said, my mother came and told me that I was going to be a woman. I know his mother didn't do this. In fact, it was the same people there at the therapy center that was involved in this dark persuasion against him. But said, my mother told me that I was going to become a woman and began to make me sleep with men. And he's a man himself. There were so many different stories that I heard, like just taking notes of certain things that are taking place. And this is in my community. This is not in an outside community. This is in my community where people are actually manipulating, and we're calling it illumination. So if you're given that illumination, first of all, you have the veil up over your eyes. So now you're dealing with the devil, the veil, the devil, you know, the veil, you know. So you can't really see clear to address it. And these kids are now dealing with this at a young age. So they're dealing with this as young as 1 and 2 years old. And now comes the question, how did this happen to them? How did they get in this situation when they're only babies? It could have been a little child. How did they get in this situation and they're babies? They were placed in that situation through slavery. Through slavery. Our people are still in slavery here in the United States, you guys. And it's flamboyantly being done. The abuse is being done. Everything against us is being done. And I don't know how to wake our people up to it. Bad therapy, too. All I can do is, with what took place with me, it woke me up to it. And it woke me up to bad therapy. It woke me up to how they want to lead you to a certain place or lead you to certain people that are going to lead you right where they want you at, deeper into slavery, deeper into bondage, deeper into a mindset in which they think is okay. The one thing I can tell you, honestly, I can tell you the one thing that has guided me through all of this, I would say the Holy Bible and my belief in the Holy Bible. I kid you not. And the Word of God. That's the only thing that guided me. And I can honestly tell you the churches have already been under attack. From the Catholic Church to the Jewish Church to the Nation of Islam. They are already embedded within the temples, tabernacles, the churches, the places, the holy cities of God. They are already embedded in it, waiting, lurking to keep our people off the right path and continue to destroy. Um, Young women, be careful. I can honestly tell you, you may feel like you're alone with your partner, and your whole sexual activity may be posted up on a social media website that you don't have access to. So all the activities that you think you're doing with your beloved man and the man that you so love, you may not. This is good therapy that I'm trying to give you. Um, a lot of this stuff is connected together. So when you're reporting it to them. They don't care. They don't have people to monitor the people that's supposed to monitor the law. So a lot of times we're believing in the law. Yes, there's laws against this type of stuff. This stuff isn't supposed to happen. We've been we got rid of slavery years ago. We got rid of it, but it's being done up under a whole new system. We got rid of the old system, but now they're using a new system. And they're manipulating our people into this and stuff, using all kinds of devices against our people and everything. These people don't care. And another thing, don't get too caught up on that freedom thing, because that's another way that they're uprooting our people, taking our people. You get what I'm saying? I can honestly tell you, you hear this in foreign countries. A man goes out and work, and his family never sees him again. I can tell you why, because he still thinks he's with his family, providing for his family. And he's stuck somewhere where he can't get free. And it's happening to women as well. You go out to provide for your family and you're being uprooted from your family and not being able to provide for your family. In fact, you're giving your money back to the same people that are doing the abuse to you, thinking that they're your family. This is the veil. This is how it works. This is some of the things that we talk about biblically that's supposed to guide you. But we're trying to tell you, I don't know how to tell you that we were bamboozled. And it's not just one culture, it's not just one color, it's not just one people, it's all of us. And we don't know how to wake up from it. You safeguard yourself by not having sex, you end up raped. Because now they don't have videos to post up on the internet about you having sex with your man who you thought loved you, but actually he was brought in to make sure that they can sleep with you, him, or whatever they want to sleep with when they got ready. That's part of the reason why I tell women, guard yourself, don't have sex. And this happens even when you're married. Sounds a little crazy, but sometimes the truth ain't always given to you in what you would expect to be fact. Like I said, this is my video for bad therapy too. Check out the first video. It's on YouTube. And also on Facebook. So check out the first video and tell me if you like it or whatever the case may be. I would love to hear some of you guys' comments on some of the things that I'm talking about. I would love to hear some of you guys talk about what you really feel, some of the things that you went through when you were going through bad therapy, um, some of the things that happened to you in your life, you know, because at this point, this is the only way we can actually get the cure out. You guys have a good one. God bless.